Welcome back to Forza Naples. Paul, FC Naples 1, Chattanooga Red Wolves 3. A really scrappy game. We said it was going to be a challenge. Do it at noon on a Wednesday on a waterlogged pitch kind of match in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Just the pitch itself, I think, kind of set the tone for the game. It was just some bad football, not a great game to watch. If it was someone's first experience into USL One, I definitely advise you to watch another game another time. What did you make of the of FC Naples' second loss in the league?
Honestly, it's probably what most people actually would expect from a USL League One
True.
game. Those type of conditions. This one was disheartening. You don't want to overreact when you're playing on a pitch like that. But the scoreline flattered the Red Wolves a little more, right?
Yeah.
Delgado's all the way up, trying to score the wonder goal to tie it. So that game really was 2-1, but Naples had plenty of chances in both halves to tack on a second one. Um, and it's hard to say who the better team was today because the pitch was just so bad. So many of those balls, and you could see guys like running where they were anticipating, and the ball to end up, and it just got nowhere near. Which once we scored that first goal, I thought it was going to be easy to sit there and park the bus because you know, the ball wasn't going to be sliding through, and they were able to find the equalizer at the end of the first half. And then their second goal was just poor defending off the set piece, and just can't have those types of mental breakdown. I don't know if they underestimated the Red Wolves. Thought that this would be a game we'd be hunting for revenge, and um, again, I don't want to criticize or overreact too much because those conditions were, as borderline to unplayable as it gets. So
Yeah, they said on the broadcast a few times they've had over 7 inches of rain in the month of May, and we're only 2 weeks into the month of May. 7 inches of rain, that's a lot of rain, as we kind of know here in Naples. Yeah, pitch not in great shape. They played on it late Saturday night, I did see. So it's already kind of torn up, and then you add all that additional rain on top of it. Kind of a recipe for disaster. And I, I I don't. You're right. I don't want to overact too much to the loss. Overall, I didn't think it was our best showing. We had, I think, 18 days off coming into this game, and I think we were a little complacent, especially at the back. That was not the back line we've seen all season. The first goal, especially, it just kind of seemed like he got between two of our guys, and it was unfortunate that goal I don't think happens earlier in the season. I think 18 days off, the waterlogged pitch, we just kind of a noon kickoff on a Wednesday. It's tough. The second goal too, same thing, just a mental lapse again. Guy gets free in the middle, and I don't know how we allow him that much time without someone stepping to him with the ball. Unfortunate.
it
Again,
looked like our guys were really nervous to have any sort of contact in the box out of fear that somebody would go down soft. And I don't know if we're ready to start criticizing the officiating from the game, but I think any sort of contact in the box, their guys are going to go down, and the ref's going to grant the penalty. That to me, it almost looked like they were afraid to close down, and you could kind of see when they were a few yards outside of the box, they were a little bit more intense. And then as soon as they got right to the edge, they almost backed off. And I don't know if that was, in the back of the minds of the players, but that's almost what it looked like to me.
yeah, a little playing scared. We weren't, and that was kind of all game long. We weren't really getting stuck into tackles like we were earlier in the year. Anytime there's a slide tackle, the foul was given.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. Even if it was all ball, a couple of those, yeah, they were missed time challenges, wet pitch. Guy slid a lot faster than I think he was going to slide, than he thought he was going to slide, and goes in, easy yellow card. But some of them were given as fouls, and there was no contact. So yeah, just kind of a bad game, just a really frustrating game from an FC Naples standpoint. Started off really well, so we got to give credit to Onan for we've been asking when the first goal outside the penalty area was going to come, and Onan from the logo pretty much way downtown is how the broadcaster described it, just outside the center circle, just sees the keeper out, rips it, and goes top bins too, which was very impressive.
Made the Golazo Instagram, I believe, reposted the goal. I actually missed it because when Fernin got the ball initially and kind of played it to the middle. I forget who got the assist there before he. I kind of like looked away to my computer screen, and then I just saw everybody celebrating. And I was like, how? Like I looked away for 5 seconds. How was there a goal on that pitch in that amount of time? And then I saw the replay, and it really was a phenomenal, ambitious shot. Is what it would have been called had it not gone in. But
Yes.
because it does go in, it's an amazing goal.
At first, it's almost the shot almost looked like when you accidentally hit the wrong button in
In
FIFA,
FIFA, yep.
and instead of passing it, you've now just taken a shot, and it's like, what did I just do? My bad. Um, but no, it was very ambitious, very Steph Curry esque. Just
Hmm.
I'm just gonna shoot. I'm just gonna pull up, and to put it top bins too is it makes it all the more sweeter. So first goal outside of the area for FC Naples this season, at least according to our statistics here. And
Very official, very official stat keeping.
yes, very official. After that, though, I thought we just kind of, I think complacency is the right term to use. We just kind of sat back and we didn't really show much fight. We actually finished top of possession, but we only had 2 shots on target all game. One of them being the goal, and no big chances according to FOTMob. 45% accurate passes, but I didn't think we had a lot of teeth going forward. And it kind of seemed like our center forwards, Henderlong for sure, like definitely was
He
just
should have had a goal.
He
Should
should
have had a
have.
goal.
And it was so frustrating to see a great ball played into him and it just doesn't get to him because of the waterlogged pitch.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
thought the pitch really hurt our style of play too. Kind of that
yes,
kick the ball long, and initially when I saw the conditions and how the ball was bouncing, I was like, oh, this is gonna kind of work out well for us because we do like to play those long aerial balls, but the backside of that is they had to be pinpoint long balls, which
yeah,
isn't necessarily our strong suit. And we've talked about it before. Playing through the midfield, also not one of our strong suits. So far from what we've seen. Um, so really the pitch conditions and the counterattack is non-existent. So it really, don't want to blame outside circumstances by any sense that, we should have at least walked away from Chattanooga with a point. But yeah, I think a lot of my feelings we probably wouldn't be discussing had the pitch been a normal, or not as bad. So again, not trying to overreact, but some of the things that I saw today weren't
yeah.
weren't good.
I think it was like 30 seconds in because the pitch obviously it's crowned, right? So the highest points in the center, and we love to play down the wings. And I think 30 seconds in, we played a ball down the wings, and it went about 2 feet and stopped. And that's when I said, "All right, give me a 0-0 right now. Let's get out of here. 0-0. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody gets sent off, and we'll move on to Portland with a point. Take a point home. Let's go." And of course then we score 10 minutes in, and it's like, all right, give me a 1-0, or heck, I'll even take a 1-1 if they score another wonder goal like that. Sure. Then it goes 1-1 right before half, and that's when I kind of started to get worried because Chattanooga kind of seemed to find something from that 30th minute onwards. And with I mean, 6 yellow cards in the first half. We've kind of danced around the referee in that game. 6 yellow cards in the first half is a lot. And then when they scored 85th minute, it just took the wind out of our sails. Yeah, we had a couple chances late, but nothing really big came from them. The corner, I think the shot was blocked, and then they cleared it right away, and then that's what led to their last goal on the empty netter, if you will.
Yeah, and I think really what's hard too is I think there are 2 goals you can't blame on the pitch. I mean, maybe how the build-ups you could have, but it's really the first time that we've seen the crack in our armor there. Um, you can't,
Yeah.
two goals that probably shouldn't have happened. We haven't really seen that this year. It's uncharacteristic of us. And I don't think Delgado played necessarily poorly, um,
No,
but
like
you like
the
to.
first goal, I think he got in between Heckenberg, and I couldn't tell if it was Evans or Dangler there from the camera view that they showed on ESPN Plus, and the replay didn't really do it justice. But he just kind of got free, and then you see the ball in the back of the net, and the two guys are looking at each other like, "Wait, I thought you had him. No, I thought you had him." So just a miscommunication. It's going to come. We said it after the first game. It's going to take time for this team to kind of gel in and bed in. And I think we're going to need to kind of get back in that habit of actual gameplay and catching up on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely something to be said about an 18-day layoff, especially when you go to LA, fly. I don't know if they, I don't know if you know either if they made it all the way to LA or what the deal is, but you gear up to go to LA, you come back. Now you're in Chattanooga, going to Portland probably tonight or first thing to probably with the early start time. I'm guessing that the early start time was due to incoming weather, so they were probably trying to get out of there as quick as possible. Yeah, not something you want to see kind of in the midway. We're approaching the midway point of the year. You'd like those guys to be gelled. And again, not going to overreact to what we saw just because the pitch was. I imagine that's very tough to play on. Tough for Delgado to move as freely as he does. He's usually pretty aggressive, coming out to make punches. Seemed like he was a little more timid, not trying to slip.
Yeah, he did have a great save where he just came out,
Yep.
made himself big, and took
Yep.
everything away from there. I want to say it was Rodriguez or Hernandez maybe running in at him, and it was a great save.
Yeah, and then the post match brawl, like you said, you want to get through with no injuries, with all your guys healthy, but now we're going to be down. Delgado's been arguably our best player, kind of the leader of the defense. The back line is no longer, I assume, will not be in action Saturday. Um, Tough.
Right. Yeah. We here at the Forza Naples podcast have no idea what happened at the end. The broadcast, we were watching it on ESPN Plus, both of us. I frustratedly, after the third goal went in, got up and walked away from my desk, where I was watching it at work, and went to go get some more water and make a cup of coffee because now my afternoon is going to be a lot longer. Because I take everything personally, even though we've agreed here as a show we're not overreacting to that match. But in the moment, I was a little frustrated. And then I come back and I see a brawl, so I thankfully rewind on the ESPN Plus app and then kind of get back to it. And yeah, all of a sudden, the referee blows the final whistle, and then you just kind of see it coming together, and then something happened to set everything off, but they cut to a zoomed in camera view, and then they zoomed back out, and then here comes Delgado, and then all of a sudden there's red cards being shown. FOTMob has their guy Michael Knapp being sent off, Delgado, and also Jake Dangler. So if that's correct and we lost Delgado and Dangler, that's a pretty massive loss for us. That's our whole back line, and going into Portland, who knows what we'll be capable of, especially on short rest.
It, and it goes back to poor officiating. That final whistle should have been blown. And I'm with you. I also went back to work when they score in the 90 plus 4, and there's 4 minutes of stoppage time. I'm assuming that it's going to be a touch in the whistle. So I don't know if she let play go for a little bit. But you're asking on those pitch conditions, you're asking for a cheap shot.
And it
I
had kind
guess
of been boiling up to that point too.
and if you remember, there was the incident where I believe Chattanooga got the red card match
First
day
game of the season.
one, where there
Yeah.
was kind of a little mini brawl at the end of that game. And as an official, you got to know the history. There's only been one game, but that game was really physical, really chippy, ended with a red card in a mini brawl, blowing that final whistle right after that the ball's put back into play. get both teams off the pitch because you know that Naples is not going to appreciate losing and dropping points. I'm going to guess Chattanooga was saying something along the line, taunting them along the lines, kind of a welcome to the league. You might have been up top early, but it's a long season. Um, so again, not to put everything on the officiating crew, but a brawl breaking out at the end of a match in what is listed as the 98th, 99th, and 100th minute. That's on the officiating crew, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wish we had more insights into what actually happened. But yeah, kind of disappointing all around. That we saw how physical the whole match was, and then it kind of boiled over there at the end. Again, like you said, same thing happened match week 1, but it was the Chattanooga guy kind of instigating it and getting sent off for it.
And that
So
was right in front of Delgado, so I'm guessing that there was some carryover.
yeah, I mean, and Delgado he got right in there. He wasn't going to take no for the answer, and he was going to kind of flex that captain's armband, and it looked like he was yelling at the referee about something. Um, and I think that's what led to Knapp getting sent off. So no idea if we're able to protest those red cards and get them rescinded, or if Delgado and Dangler are going to be out next match. One thing I did find interesting was Tony Halterman, who has kind of been our third string keeper and goalkeeper coach all season, was named as the substitute keeper. Joel Serrano was not, who's kind of been our backup keeper all year. So going to be interesting to see if they fly him up to Portland for that match, if Delgado is suspended, or if Tony Halterman's going to be in net. Joel Serrano, Puerto Rican international goalkeeper too. So that hopefully we're safe back there with him if Delgado is indeed suspended.
Yeah, lot to look forward to, and again, it is nice as a fan to see the guys not taking the loss well. That's something you don't want to see Reds guys taking red cards, but it is good to see the fight there and standing up for yourselves, your teammates. Just got to be smarter about it, especially if both those guys are going to be out. Your mindset goes from let's not, let's get out of there with a win, potentially, to now it's let's get out of there with a point when you lose two of your best players.
Yeah, yeah, which I think is a good transition there to the Portland match. So we'll travel to Portland, Maine now to take on Portland Hearts of Pine. This is the second time we've played Portland Hearts of Pine. You might remember 0-0 draw at home. Portland's been selling out their stadium. They've had a really huge crowd every game so far this season for their couple home games. They currently sit in 13th out of 14 teams on 4 points. They've had 4 draws, 1 loss, haven't won a game yet. Naples is 4-2-2 coming into this one, having played 8 games. Portland's only played 5. 5:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPN Plus if you'd like to watch, if you're not making the trip to Portland, Maine. So what are we looking for in this game? I think the big thing for me is just being able to bounce back after that loss. We saw the team bounce back after the one Knoxville game and come in and kind of take it to Charleston. So looking for a similar response on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that regardless of who's out there, you want to see the fight, the spirit, getting back to our roots of how we're supposed to play. Assuming Portland's pitch is in playable conditions.
It looks like
And
it's a turf field, so hopefully, I mean, say what you will about turf, but at least we won't have, hopefully, knock on wood, giant puddles of mud on
yeah,
the
like
pitch.
that's the beauty. I know soccer players don't like playing on turf, but in Florida where it rains every day, especially in the summer, you kind of need that. Um, and just seeing, obviously with two guys assuming, and I think we move forward the rest of the podcast assuming Delgado. And I didn't even notice the second red. I rechecked ESPN. I only saw Delgado's name, but I just looked again, and Dangler's name was also on ESPN as a red. So assuming we're going in without Delgado and Dangler, you're going to have to see the squad rotation. We've talked about that a bunch. and looking for the guys that don't play 90 minutes usually, to come in and play a good quality game. And I think, to be realistic, if we walk out of Portland with a point, um, I think we got to be, pleased with that. Obviously, we're going to watch the game and think we could have gotten 3 points. We want the
Right.
school to get 3 points, but just getting back to getting points, picking them up, as you always say, on Saturday.
Yeah, I think you sign up, take a point right now. But I also think Portland's beatable. Looking at how they've kind of performed this season and recently, everything's been a draw. They lost in the Jägermeister Cup at Hartford, and then they lost to South Georgia Tormenta back in April. That's their only loss so far, is a 2-1 loss. But they're also still trying to bed in, I think, as a team, having played a lot less games than us. But I think they're beatable. Very similar styles of play. But yeah, it's one of those that I think we take points on the road and try to get 3 points every home match. And with a lot of road matches coming up, we might be getting a lot of points. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Give me a point right now. I'll take it.
Yeah, they drew with Omaha, so that's kind of the other indicator too for what match the next match week's going to look like, because that's we fly to Omaha next week. I'm assuming there'll be a
Home
pit stop
home
in.
to Omaha.
Oh,
Only
I'm
home
sorry.
game in the month of May.
I'm sorry. Yes, I misread that. So,
We don't want
uh,
people booking their flights out to Omaha. I don't think it's an
yeah,
easy
you're
place
right.
to get in
That
and out
people would
of.
be upset with the podcast if they listen and book the trip to Omaha that was non-refundable, because the World Series, the College World Series might be close, but I don't think it's close enough to double dip.
No.
Maybe that's why Omaha is on the road, because they want to clear out of the craziness that is Omaha come College World Series time. Uh, so yeah, I think that it's just another opportunity to pick up points. I think I think the boys are going to be up. You're right. You mentioned even after the Tampa loss, we followed that with the Rowdies loss, or the Tampa draw, I guess. Um, but the Knoxville game was almost a fluke, a cheap penalty in the box that gave us that loss. But they came ready to play, and then they gave it to the Battery following the Knoxville loss. So I think you're right. I think the team's ready to bounce back. And the best part is it's a 2 day turnaround. You travel today, recover tomorrow, light training on Friday, and you're back on the pitch Saturday afternoon. Another opportunity to get back to form.
Yeah, it's one of those that there's not too much time to sit on the loss, which I think is a good thing. We just get right back on the horse and let's go. Let's go get 3 points. Let's go ruin Portland's second ever home game in their new stadium. Let's do it. That's at least all you can kind of hope for. We'll see what kind of squad rotation we get coming into it. Going to be tough, especially if we're missing our center back and starting goalkeeper, which it sure sounds like that's going to be the case.
But it's also
Because
an
it
opportunity for somebody to step up, somebody to earn their paycheck and maybe find more minutes down the road. Um, with the season, you need bodies. You need
right.
guys that can go out there and play 90, and you're gonna get two people who don't normally get that opportunity. Um, will get that opportunity. Was it Dangler? Is that who they said had played every minute so far this year?
Correct.
So he probably just wanted a day off. I am now convinced that he picked up his red card so he could have a day off in Portland. Wants to go to the Pirate Museum in Portland, and enjoy his vacation up there if they bring him at all. It's probably cheaper to just bring him than to fly him home, uh, commercial, back to Naples. But maybe he just needed a day off and saw an opportunity and said, I'll take Saturday off, boys.
Yeah, that could be the case. I highly doubt it. To kind of know, seeing how Dangler plays on the pitch, I don't think that was his mentality when he got the red card, which none of us even saw the red card because it was just like red cards being thrown everywhere. So I did confirm on the USL League One website, our official source here is Delgado and Dangler both have red cards shown.
Got it. So it is confirmed. Yeah, I know Dangler probably listens to the show. I was not trying to throw any shade to our Iron Man back there.
Right.
Obviously, of course, that needs to be said. But yeah,
But
yeah,
good shout on the squad. We've got 25 games left. It's a
yep.
long season.
Hmm.
So it's kind. Someone needs to step up. Let's big shoes to fill. If we're missing Dangler and Delgado, like you said, we're going to assume we are. Which hopefully no one's listening to this on like a Friday and they've come out and said, "Oh, suspension rescinded," or "Yeah, those red cards were actually wrong," and they meant to go to the Red Wolves for whatever. But yeah, it's a long season left. There's going to be injuries. It's going to be hot. It's going to be muggy. There's going to be cramps. We're going to need everybody we can get, and someone's going to have to step up big time. After this Portland game, FC Naples does come home to play Union Omaha, only home game in the month of May, and then we're on the road back in the Jägermeister Cup against Miami on the 31st. So that one should be fun. Try to make the trip across the alley. I'm going to try to at least. And then at Greenville, June 7th. And then we're back home to play who else but the Chattanooga Red Wolves for the third time this season on June 14th. So those USL League One schedule makers who I know listen to the show, they were cooking something up, I think, with giving us Chattanooga three times kind of in that first half of the season, huh?
Yeah, and I think that's a mark your calendar
Yeah,
fixture.
that's a
Um,
put the kids to. This is going to become a put the kids to bed early kind of match. I can tell you that.
yeah, in our history, there's been two games and four red cards. Two, a miniature brawl, and then whatever you want to call today. A lot of yellow cards, although I think you touched on a lot of soft yellows today. Um, but in two games that were both very physical, and I think that the game today there was Onan specifically. I remember got a two-hand shove to the back. Um, I think he might have gone down a little easy, but you get pushed with two hands, you're probably going to go down on a wet surface. Thought he was going to get the call, doesn't get it. Then we come down, we play slightly physical. They get the foul call. Definitely something in there. Expecting that one to be another fun fixture.
Yes. I do want to give a shout out to whoever on the road, assuming they're not coming back to Fort Myers tonight to go to Portland, assuming they're staying out on the road, but whoever has to find the laundromat or wherever they're going to take those uniforms to wash them. White uniforms on that pitch, bad idea. I get that's kind of all we had to wear because they were in a dark color, but that's going to be a fun time trying to get those dirt stains out. Hopefully,
Yeah.
there's some Tide cleaners in Chattanooga, Tennessee, or Portland,
Well, that
Maine.
was the official sponsor, and I think the announcers did. I thought the announcers were fun today.
They were, they
A lot
were.
of broken fourth wall moments. You don't see that too often. Um, but there was a sponsorship, I think, for Tide, and they said, "What a perfect opportunity to discuss Tide on with Naples wearing white." So yeah, that's it. That person does a thankless job, so we want to thank you for it. I know nobody's going to appreciate the hours you're going to spend cleaning those uniforms. Um, and if it's not somebody a part of the club, which whoever you guys outsource it to, thank you to them for. I'm sure you're paying a premium to get those cleaned.
Yeah, I remember being a freshman with our college soccer team, and we would wash our uniforms and the bibs and socks in the hotel laundry rooms. So every time I'd travel, someone would have to bring our bag of quarters. I'm assuming they're gonna go to a laundromat or something. I'd hope, because I'm not sure if a hotel washer dryer can handle all that.
Yeah, that's the bar soap scrubbing. I remember that's how my parents used to clean my baseball pants when I was a child. And you grab the bar soap, put it
Start
between,
scrubbing.
start scrubbing.
Paul, anything else before we go here? Like we said, not going to dwell on it too much. We're not going to talk about airports because no one really liked that episode looking at the metrics. So we're back to talking about FC Naples, which is why everyone comes here.
Yeah, I think that as fans, we're justified in being upset post game, like we both were. It's now been a few hours and kind of fun doing a post match recap day of while everything's fresh in the mind.
Yes.
So I think that it's fair for us to be disappointed with the results. But obviously we're not in the locker room. But I'm sure that the boys in the locker room are also disappointed. They didn't want to go to Chattanooga and walk away with nothing. So I anticipate them being better on Saturday, getting back into the dominance we've shown in the league so far this year. You take it, you take the L. We'd be foolish to think that there'd be no point in this year that we have a bad loss. Um, and if this is our worst loss of the season, and you tell me in March that our worst loss of the season is going to be a 3-1 in those conditions, sign me up.
Right.
So put it behind us, move on to the Heart of Pine, and, and try to grab some points on Saturday.
Yeah, take it, learn from it, move on, flush it. That's what we were always kind of taught growing up playing soccer was, all right, yeah, we just lost. Yeah, it wasn't good. It was a bad pitch, bad ref, whatever you want to blame it on. Take that now, flush it. Let's move on. Let's go get 3 points on Saturday. Let's go get back to our winning ways. Let's go get back to top of the table because Spokane's they've been putting a run together. They've looked really good. We're the only team to beat them this year. So let's get back to that form. Let's find that and let's go. So I think that will do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram if you're not already. Get in touch with the show. We're Forza Naples Pod on Instagram, Forza Naples 239@gmail.com if you want to reach out to the show. We love hearing from you all. We're looking forward to being back home against Union Omaha next weekend. The Sunday before Memorial Day should be a lot of fun. Back at home, back at the Paradise Coast Sports Complex. I've missed my FC Naples blonde, so very much looking forward to that and cashing in those chips. Paul, thank you so much as always. And we will see you all soon. Up the Naples. Come on, you blue and gold. Let's go, Naples.